Hello, this is H.G. Bailey, and I am the Senate, and let's play Disgaea 2! Now that we've completed all the tutorial battles, we can check out the Dark Assembly. It's all opened up for us. One thing I wanted to mention with the Dark Assembly that distinguishes it from the first game, there are no more promotion exams or demon ranks or anything like that that you need to arbitrarily do in order to unlock new bills. If you've got the mana and you've fulfilled various other conditions, you can pass the bill. You don't have to fight any battles or anything like that. They, scrapped all of that there. And they got a whole bunch of bills and stuff we can use to unlock various content or adjust the game in one way or the other. I'll go over that when it becomes more pertinent, but I'm not going to be doing that today. Oh, I almost forgot. We got this one bill here that I already unlocked, because if you remember from the previous episode where I had made that massive geochain that went over 500, and when you do that, that unlocks the Make a Strange Old Man bill, which, if you pass it, it unlocks the Geomancer job class. And that's how you, unlock any job class in the game. You fulfill a condition, it unlocks a bill that pops up here, you pass the bill, boom, you got the new job class. Hooray! But I'm not going to be doing anything with that today. What I want to do first, though, is create my party here. So, let's see. I want to get rid of my generic units here. Make sure you've already removed all of their equipment, because if you didn't, it's not going to go back into your inventory, and you won't be able to sell it. So, just strip them naked, and then throw them out on the street. Okay, so, let's see, we want to create some new generic units here, or pupils. Sometimes the game calls them students, too. But in order to create a new unit, you need mana. You see in the upper right there, I've got 7 mana that I can use for creating new characters, potentially. You get mana whenever you kill an enemy, or a geosymbol, or anything that has a level attached to it. If you kill, like, a level 2 enemy, you get 2 mana out of it. So, pretty simple there. So let's start by creating a lady fighter here. The capability of the unit that we gotta select here, that determines how many bonus points we have to add. You see where it says ability bonus on the right there? You can either add those points or subtract them, in this case, from the unit's base stats there. And that determines their long-term stat growth. The more mana you use to create the unit, you see where it says need 50 mana for higher tiers of capability here. And if you invest more mana in that, you get more bonus points there. But since we're just starting out, we don't really have a whole lot to work with here. But that's alright. So let's start with a, good-for-nothing lady fighter here. And I'll name her Tiana because she has the green hair. And let's see. Okay, now, since she's a fighter unit, she doesn't really care about the intellect stat, which is basically used for your magic damage, things like that. Actually, it doesn't even affect healing anymore, unlike the first game. I just thought of that. I don't know what res stands for. Resilience? Resistance? I think it's resistance, like magic resistance or something. But that is actually used for your healing there. But lady fighters, they don't use magic, so I'm just going to kill their intellect there. And let's see. Now, you can see on the weapon mastery there that lady fighters are pretty decent with bows there. And bows, their first skill is Ice Elemental, and that'll really help us out early on in the game. Now you see in the upper right where it says -50, 0, and 50 with those different colors there, that determines your unit's elemental affinities. Negative affinity is less resistance, positive means more resistance. And for physical attackers, that's not really a big problem for them. But I would like my elemental resistances, or my weaknesses, to be different on the 3 generic units that I'm going to create. And let's see, for Lady Fighter, I think this will be okay, as long as she's not strong to wind, and I'll explain that in a moment. So yeah, we can go with this. One thing you also want to keep an eye on, though, whenever you create a new unit, let's just create anything here, whatever. So when we do that, now you see how he has 16 attack there. Let's exit and cancel, get back in. You see how now it's 15. Whenever you create a new unit, whatever you set for their base stats can vary a little bit, positive or negative there. So you want to keep an eye on that so you make sure you get at least what you put in here out of it. Sometimes you can get more. Sometimes you'll get 17 when you set 16 here instead. So just something to keep an eye out there. You can manipulate that with bonus points, but you have some variance to watch out for. Okay, so now now I want to create a male fighter who is going to be my spear user. Technically, lady fighters are very slightly better with spears as far as weapon proficiency goes, but I want to make my spear user a male fighter so that way I can tell the difference between the two of them so they don't look identical there. So let's go with Krona, because he's going to be my tank as usual in my strategy RPG LPs. Cheer up, Krona. And let's see, same thing, let's just kill the intellect there. And let's see, we got 16 attack. I don't want you to be strong against wind there. I want you to be strong against fire. And let's see, weak against wind. Let's see, but you lost some attack power there, so you just keep on going in and out over and over and over again until I get the elemental affinities and the stats that I want to get out of him. Ah, come on. Give me more attack power! Wow, you really don't want me to have 16 there, do you? Wow. The game is really, really hosing me here. Okay, come on. Okay, I'll be back in a minute, viewers, whenever I get this damn thing to roll correctly. Oh, there it is. Okay, well, yeah, there we are. I wanted 16 attack, strong against fire, weak against wind, since Tiana there is going to be weak against fire, right? Okay, good, good. Phew. Okay, so we got my main tank, we got my bow user here. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to say also was that Krona really helped me a lot in my test runs when I was handling stuff with the post-game, Dark World maps, and planning things out, so I thought I'd reward him for his help there. Okay, so the last unit I want to create is a skull. They're essentially the same thing as mages, except they're guys, and they don't make nearly as annoying sound effects as they did in the first game. And I want to create a green skull because I already have my Tiana ready to use bows for ice elemental attacks, and Adele is eventually going to learn fire elemental attacks just because he's a storyline character. So we've got those two elements covered. So the last element I'm going to cover here is green, or wind elemental there. And let's see, being a skull, one of the differences between skulls and mages, skulls get more skill points quickly, which increases their damage and stuff, while mages, their spells cost slightly, well, maybe not slightly less, but they do cost less than they do for skulls, and there's some slight stat differences, but really it's not a big deal either way. I'm just going to go with the green skull just because I like getting more skill points, more than my spells being cheaper there. And let's see, I'm going to name this one after Lloyd there, because he's another member on my forums there, and he really helped me out a lot when I was just starting out with the game, learning the new mechanics and planning things out for the main storyline there. Now, there are others that I intend to reward for their help by naming units after them, but, well, this is all the units that I'm going to be creating for now. Now, being a skull, I don't care about their physical attack power, so let's just kill that and move on there. Now, I want my skull to have 50 wind resistance and to be weak against ice, so that way all my units have a different elemental weakness there. So let's see. Let's just keep on going in and out. You've only got 15 intellect, though. 16 intellect. There we go. Okay. Well, that didn't take too long to re-roll the stats a little bit over and over again. You don't have to do that, though, if that really bothers you. I'm just being hyper-analytical with all that stuff, so... But these are the 3 units, or generic units, that I want to create. Another thing with spells, though, that they changed in Disgaea 2 is that their damage is influenced, or greatly influenced, by your elemental affinities. So in this case, since a Green Skull casts wind spells, I want him to have more wind resistance there, and that'll really help out their damage there. But that only works with spells. It does not work with physical skills that have an element attached to them. So just something to keep in mind there. Okay, so now that we're done with that, let's buy some new weapons. I won't have enough money to buy everything that I want, but I would at least like to get weapons for my physical attackers there, my fighters there. So let's see, I want to get a pike for Krona there, and we got the Sentry Specialist, which increases your defense there. So, yeah, that seems like a good one. One thing about spears that distinguishes them from other units, they have a range of 2 to attack an enemy with just a normal attack, but they also have defense attached to them as opposed to, like, swords or fists or anything like that. So that's one of the benefits of using spears, and I really like those. Let's see, I want to buy a longbow for Tiana there. Oh, and we got a customer rank, okay. Well, hold on, I'll go over that in just a moment. But they didn't have a longbow in the shop there, so let's just leave, come back, boom, we got new stuff here. Let's see, I would want to go for Gladiator or Marksman. Marksman improves your hit stat, while Gladiator increases your attack stat. And yeah, we can go with this one, that's fine. Now, eventually, I do want to buy a bone staff for Lloyd, but I don't have the money for that right now. So, maybe I should have held on to that staff that one of the generics started with. Whatever, it's not a big deal. I'll just get whatever staff. Whatever, I don't care. So let's equip that to her. Get the pike going. And a staff ready for Lloyd. Now, just like the first game, whenever you have a mage or a healer, let's say, whenever you have them cast a spell, in this case we have the wind spell here, it boosts, or you gain weapon mastery for it, just as a melee unit would gain weapon mastery by just attacking someone with their regular attack there. So that'll really help him out a lot, and he has really good, well, maybe not really good, but pretty damn good, pretty solid weapon mastery with stabs there. So we'll just start him out with that, and I will buy a better staff once I've gotten some other things going on here. Now, you also might have also noticed that when I was buying stuff, we got a customer rank boost there. What that means is whenever you buy something, it accumulates in that yellow bar there, you see at the bottom middle there, and whenever you've spent enough money, it boosts the customer rank of the store there. But there's also the product rank there, and we still don't have better stuff to buy. So what you would want to do eventually, not right now, but once you've gotten your customer rank up, then you can go to the Dark Assembly over here. And let's see, what do we got? Yeah, we got the more expensive stuff bill. And if you decide to try and pass that, that'll increase the product rank by 1 as well. But you can only increase the product rank up to whatever the customer rank is. You can't exceed the customer rank. So you're going to have to spend money on the shops in order to be able to buy better stuff eventually. Okay, so let's see, we got all that there. Oh yeah, by the way, as far as other weapon types go, I forgot to mention there's a couple more that I didn't go over there. Let's see, with axes, I hate axes in this game. They are so terrible. Look at that hit loss you get there. Axes are so inaccurate, and it only gets worse the more powerful they get. I mean, yeah, you can equip accessories that boost your hit stat to counteract that, but it's totally not worth it. So yeah, don't go for that. Although one benefit of axes is that, like you saw how Rosalind's guns reduced the speed of anything she hit with that, axes reduce the defense, physical defense, of the target that you hit with that. But it's totally not worth it because their accuracy is so horrible, and it just gets worse. So don't go for that. Swords, on the other hand, are really good, but I'm going to save that for someone else later on. And we've got 5 units to start working on right now. That is more than enough for now. Although I will add a 6th character to my regular rotation. And I'm still going to use some other characters and monsters for various other effects eventually. But right now, I'm just going to stick with the humanoid units. Monsters can actually be pretty useful in this game. I mean, it's not obscenely useful, but they have their uses in certain situations here. So now that we're done with the tutorial levels, we have, well, 2 battlefields we can go to. The Reflection Pond is the one that we can use, or yeah, you use that to advance the plot, but they also give you this other little tutorial battle. It's not really a tutorial, it's just a simple battle that you could use to bring new characters up to speed, so to speak. But, I mean, you don't have to complete it to beat the game or anything like that. But I will be taking advantage of that, so that way I can bring my new fighters and Skull up to speed there. But what else am I going to do with some new units at the Dark Assembly there? Find out next time on Let's Play Disgaea 2! This is H.C. Bailey, signing off. Have a good day!